Hello, everyone. Welcome to the September, not August, coaches meeting, as Nick pointed out in my agenda earlier. We're happy you're all here. If you're joining us later, you can find the agenda linked online or ask for the agenda because there will be some important links in it. I'll also share my screen as well later on so you can see those things. We have a few partners to lead off the meeting to talk about some of the opportunities that we have developed for all of you as school coaches. Um, these were announced at our mandatory meeting, which you haven't seen, you should definitely check out via the Ed Puzzle that's linked in the coaches meeting folder and everywhere on Discord. But our first guest, I believe Chris from Valhalla is here.
I am. I am
Yeah.
here. I didn't expect to go on at the top of the agenda here. I thought I would warm up a little,
Ah,
see
you're
how you
good.
guys handle the meeting.
Ah,
Oh no, Chris is here.
yep.
Welcome.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so I wasn't sure kind of the, the register, the etiquette of these meetings. I did make a presentation, but I also can just talk if you don't want me to use a
No, you're free to
presentation.
share.
Okay.
Nick, can you make sure
Let's
he has
see.
permissions to share?
Give me the power. Let's see if it actually displays the way it's supposed to. Ooh, how's that look?
Yeah, that'll be good.
Does it look right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So, a little bit of background. I know a lot of you here probably have heard of us to some degree. I know that a few of the schools here that current programs in the past have competed with the Valhalla Esports League, and so, I have pretty good relationship with some of the board members, and I thought, why don't we try to do something creative and unique that can, maybe answer some of the difficulties that we have, some of the difficulties that the state has with trying to organize as much as we're all trying to organize. Every school has different program needs and demands. So I'm just going to run through real quickly, and it's not long. It's like it says 13 slides, but they'll go quick, I promise. Just a little bit about who we are. I'll keep it quick, and then talk a little bit about how that partnership with IEN is going to work. So we're a youth-based esports league. We are a little different than most of the scholastic leagues in that we are youth-based, not scholastic exclusive. Now we are like 85% schools, but about 15% are like youth-based developmental esports programs where there may be like a LAN center, but no schools have esports programs. So that LAN center kind of serves the needs of the community. We kind of decided to pull the plug on that and let that keep going. It made sense to us to open up the opportunity to any kid who wants to compete. We work to keep our prices obviously affordable. I'm going to try to go quick because I know you guys have others on the docket here. We work really hard to try to keep our prices affordable. And, in talking to IEN and the board here, one of the things that we were able to come to is a 25% discount across the board for all IEN teams when they participate in the VHEL. I'm just going to be really transparent here. At the end of the day, we have never told a team no because they didn't have the money for fees. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not opening the door to, we of course have employees and they have to be paid. But the one thing we don't do is gatekeep kids from gaming. So if there's ever a time where you're looking for gaming opportunity that is part of the VHEL programming and money is in the way, always make sure you send a message before you decide it's not possible, because I don't think any of us are here for the money. As long as we can eat dinner, the rest of us just want to keep doing esports things. So just so you know, that's kind of been our approach. We do have requirements, though, to participate, and that is, of course, the kids can't be graduated. They obviously have to have an adult responsible for them, so you can't have 5 random kids who are like, I'm going to make a team with my buddies and participate, and they must be part of an organization that is in person. They don't have to compete in person, but they must be part of an in-person organization. For example, the schools that don't have labs, right? You all play from home, but you still are part of an in-person community, because we think that's an important part of esports, is knowing your team. I'm going to skip through a couple of quick things here. I don't need to give you guys the big pitch, but we keep prices low. We are super support driven. We're very active on Discord, and everybody who works in the VHEL is either an educator now or has been in educational esports in some way in the past 5 years. So all of us have been a part of that.
Hey, Chris, we're not seeing your slides advance if you're advancing them.
Uh-oh.
We're just seeing like your presenter review where you're still on the league overview page.
Oh my God, you guys have been looking at that the whole time?
Yep.
Awesome. We should probably fix that. I'll just do it this way. Can you see it now?
Yeah, if you just advance there, that's good. It's big enough for us to see.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I was just rambling on. You guys like, great, this guy's going to talk for 45 minutes on his title slide. Awesome. So I was about like 4 or 5 slides in trying to save you guys time here. So I gave you guys the spiel already. You can see the requirements there, and I'm happy to send this if anybody's interested afterwards. But, support, affordability, and traditional competition is what we're all about. We do divisional play. We don't do Swiss play. We make sure that, based on your reported ranks, and then we are LeagueOS users, which I heard is also a good thing for IEN. Actually, it's IEN's fault we're LeagueOS users, Dylan. So I said, what do you think of this LeagueOS? He said, we love it, do it. And that was it. So we have adopted it. We are using it this season. So all of the data for any team from IEN that wanted to also participate in VHEL, all that data would auto-populate, which would be awfully convenient for both you and for us as well. So that's good news. So everything is division-based, as I suggested. I think yours are also based by enrollment numbers, I'm pretty sure. Ours are based on rank numbers. So when you provide rank, obviously LeagueOS has a system for taking ranks, averaging rank, putting you into a division where other average ranks exist as well. I'm not going to go through our annual schedule. It's basically aligns to what you guys do as well. September to December, February to May, just like kind of everybody does. We do have a winter and a summer season that we operate, but they're pretty small and they're really meant to be casual. Those are Swiss, but we could talk about those at another time. I think what's important is making sure we understand how this is going to work in the fall. So I kind of want to get there before I waste too much time. This is our game schedule. Everything happens at 4:30 Pacific or Eastern time, which, if I remember correctly, your guys' times are offset from that anyway. So I don't think that there's any inherent overlap anyway. But our rule of thumb is going to be that if a team is an Indiana school and an IEN member, that they should be primarily focusing on IEN competition as their source of scheduled programming, and that the VHEL is intended to be a complement to that. So if you guys aren't running Minecraft Bed Wars 4v4v4v4 and you have a program who wants it, we would love to offer that to you guys. If you are running Fortnite duos on Monday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific, the expectation from the VHEL side is that you want to focus on your IEN competition first. That's got to be the primary goal. I think everybody in this room believes that state federations and state level tournament is where we get legitimacy for scholastic programs. Sorry, you asked, is this just a high school? You mean the program? No, we have like 130 organizations that compete with us. About 90 of them are high schools. About maybe 5 or 6 are middle school programs, and then we have a handful of land centers across the country that are Valhallan land centers. So we have we are only a small part of the larger company on the side, and they have franchising, and then we also have some other like one-off land centers that some contenders play with us. We have an XP team that played with us, a couple other one-off land centers who are like privately owned. We just are youth program focused. You can see all the games we offer there. Obviously for R6, you have to have waivers, just a heads up. Yeah, so that's kind of the map of our game schedule. What I'll do is I think I can post an image in the chat, and I'll just take a screenshot of that and I'll throw it in there so everybody has a copy of that screenshot there. And then, we have some pricing and perks as well, but really it's, we're banner focused and we are trophy focused. We do banners for all divisions. And then we do a trophy option for our highest division. So if they want a trophy, we will provide a trophy as opposed to a banner. Yeah, I think that's probably right, that VHEL is a national opportunity that will stand in alignment with IEN. I think one of the problems of, the culture of esports in the scholastic space, and I'm sure we could all talk about this for days, but is that, we don't want to stand in opposition to the state federations. We want to support them. We want to support their efforts, and we want to offer compliments to their efforts so that teams who are looking for more and other kinds of opportunities that don't exist within that state federation, they can come to us, and we'll make sure that we don't interfere with the state operation. Because again, I definitely believe, coming from the school space myself, that the state level is where you're going to get athletic recognition, activity recognition. That's where you're going to get state level recognition and real titles and banners from those states. And then, the rest of it is really a lot of the nuance of what we do. Everything we do runs through Discord. We obviously have LeagueOS, but we are heavy Discord users. We have a 13 and over only policy. Of course, you're all high schools for the most part, I think, so it shouldn't be a problem. But heavily moderated. Obviously, we have lots of auto moderation in there. We also have almost, not entirely, around the clock moderation. So if some kid's on there at 3 a.m., then our auto mod will take care of most stuff, NSFW stuff, 18 plus stuff. But if they drop some kid slang that our auto mod bot doesn't pick up yet because none of us know what that is, it may miss it until one of the adults logs on at 6 a.m. and finds it. All of our protocols are outlined on the LeagueOS website, which I'll post in the chat as well. So you can go there, check all our rules out. We have rule books, obviously, for every single title. I think there's a couple teams in here also that, Speedway High School has played with us. I know Dylan had some experience when he was at Carmel High School. They can definitely talk to you about, what the kind of nuance is, the day-to-day, if you have any questions from someone you might want to ask as a third party or someone who isn't obviously representing the VHEL itself. We do have a flexible reschedule policy. We do allow teams to reschedule, but the reschedule policy is, I say flexible, but it is the team who is requesting is liable to take a forfeit if their opponent does not accept that request. So, of course, the team who is not requesting a reschedule has the right to say that is not allowed. There we go. Shout out from Ryan Dunphy, my guy. I think in a lot of ways. Oh, look at all the love coming in here. Loving it. Oh, is that Anderson High School there? Is that Rich from Anderson? I haven't talked to you in a couple seasons. We'll have to catch up. So all our matches take place again at 4:30 Pacific. We do offer an Eastern time zone, but I don't think that would be our Eastern time zone. Usually what ends up happening is our entire Eastern time zone schools want more competition and bigger divisions. So they say, can we just play in the Pacific time? And then they get the luxury of course, doing all their after school activities and sports and then coming home and playing in the evening. So our Pacific groups are far and away our heaviest, our 4:30 group, 4:30 Pacific time. So that's really where you're going to find the most competition. We do have some BM and toxicity rules. We will kick you out if your kids can't behave. We have zero tolerance for any sort of discrimination at all, whether it's race, gender, religion, any of that kind of stuff. And zero tolerance is player bans first and then team bans second if it happens for a second time in a season by a team. I will be transparent with you because I think this is why I really moved this direction and started kind of running this local tournament that's evolved when I was at Modern Day. We had a lot of trouble with being a Catholic school and interacting with kids who were having some issues with behavior. And we had trouble getting leagues to support that effort in the National League grouping. And so we take a hard-nosed line on it, and we will kick kids out. Like we have kicked multiple teams out. It's just not something that, we want to encourage. This is a kid space and we want to keep it safe. And then, the magic stuff here, this is the pricing structure in general. And this is by team, not by player. So we don't charge by player except for Smash because it's obviously we do single player. It's by team. You can have up to double your roster on your team. So if you have a 5 stack of Valorant kids, you can have up to 10 on that squad. And they're all eligible as subs in that roster at any time. There's no report required. You don't have to notify this kid's coming in. As long as they're on a roster, they're eligible to play. Again, this is season-based, but we are doing a 25% off all of this for IEN teams. And like I said before, if money is the impediment, come see us first. Join our Discord, open a ticket, say, I'm from IEN. We want to play. Money's an issue, and we'll work something out. There's two. I just wish I could have played when I was a kid, and I'm sure there's a lot of kids out there too that wish that, and we don't want to be the impediment for that. So if that's where the line is crossed, make sure you come reach out first. Just a couple dates for you guys, and what I'll do is I'll send in the chat when I'm done here some of this info, and then I'll type up a little bit of it as well for you. Our preseason starts on Monday, but our regular season starts 2 weeks later. I think October 7th, I think is the official day. Is the Monday of the week. October 7th, yeah. So that's when our season starts. So registration is open until the 4th to register for regular season. So we still got a couple weeks if you guys want to ask questions, do some research, learn a bit more about it. I already saw Speedway is in. They registered early. And happy to talk to you guys. I am in the IEN Discord. You can ping me in there as well. I think I'm pingable, right, guys? Yeah. So you guys can ping me in there if you want to ask questions there. I'm happy to send you guys the Discord link to join the VHEL Discord as well. And let's see what we can do. I think it's important that we continue to support what IEN is doing, and anything we can do to support those efforts, we're open to doing. Thank you again to the board and to all the teams for letting us do this. We're excited. This is the first of its kind. This was just some idea that I spit out to Dylan one day, and he said, "Let me talk to the board. We'll see what we can do." And here we are. So our real goal would be that this goes really well, and then we can go to Texas, and then we can go to Illinois, and we can say, "Hey guys, let's start to offer some national opportunities here."
Cool. Thanks, Chris.
I think that's it for me.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
So yeah, Chris will hang around. He'll put some resources in chat. He's in the Discord. We'll share any resources he shares with us out too. So just another opportunity. We know some of you want to play titles we don't offer. We know some of you want other opportunities. So that was just a way that we can offer those sorts of things. And next up, JP. I think JP is here.
Yep, I'm here.
Hey. So guys, I'll let JP introduce himself, and then you tell me what you want to share, and I'll drive while you talk.
If you want to share the PowerPoint, that'd be great.
Cool. Right there.
As Joe said, my name is JP Lanning. I'm with Versiti Blood Centers. We're starting to, I really sat down and said, okay, where are we struggling to get, why are we struggling since COVID? We've had probably a 15% drop in students participating in our blood drives, and we've got to try different ways to get there. So made a phone call to Joe, met with him, and here we are today talking to you guys about it. So next slide. This is our mission. And the reason I put this in here, you guys see this gobbledygook from people presenting all the time, but there's a reason for it. And it's the patient's health. And I can tell you, there's blood centers and people collect blood and they give them back, but we really are making a difference. And it's one of the biggest reasons I came here after being at Red Cross for the last 15 years is because of what we can do for a patient's health and also to create leaders in the future. And I put yours in here. And after I did this and sent it to Joe, there was one thing that hit me that you guys had right after this paragraph. And it was talking about the monetary part of using students. And yes, there will be prizes for this, but I couldn't agree more in the fact that I want to create leaders. And we need people giving back to the community more. And this is a group I feel that has been totally neglected in that aspect. And they are going to become some of the best leaders in this country. So talking to Joe, we thought, well, this could be a great idea to come in here and talk about it. So next slide. Just a little bit about who we are. We used to be called Indiana Blood Centers. Probably about 20 years ago, they joined up with about 5 other regions and formed a company called Versiti, but realistically, we've been around in Indiana since about 1953. We are a nonprofit blood center, and we provide the most blood of any nonprofit in Indiana currently. One of the things I think that people need to understand is there's a difference between, like you see, like the places that pay versus us. The places that pay you to donate, they're great, but their blood can only go to research. It can't go to hospitals. It can't be used for patients like that. So realistically, a South Bend Medical, us, Red Cross, those are about the only people or small other regional systems that allow that. It has to be a voluntarily based donation. We can't pay. We can do the gift cards, but that's about the extent of what we can do. So try to find other ways to work around it. One of the biggest things and probably the biggest difference in Versiti versus any other blood center is what we talk about right here. And that is when you have blood and it's a business. It is, but it can also be a side where we need to do more with it. And at Versiti, we have a blood institute in Wisconsin that we fly people into all the time. We have found 3 sickle cell treatments over the last 15 years that hadn't been discovered before because of that. Our Indianapolis Blood Center is growing twice the size of what it was and is also a great research center. So that is very important to me that we're doing stuff that impacts people locally. And I was telling Joe, one of the examples is we worked with an EMT unit just outside of Indianapolis to put a unit of blood on their ambulance. That person, whoever needs that blood, has a 67% chance of survival because of that. And that was a pretty cool thing. So finally on this one, and what Versiti is, we're across 5 states. Now, why that's a big deal here is yes, this is the first year we want to do this, but I would hope, and in talking to Joe, we see opportunity to compete against those other states. I live in Michigan and work in the northern Indiana area. I went to a parent meeting last night. My son's in middle school at Waterville High School up here to, for their second year of esports. So I know there's opportunity to compete against that too and form as a state and compete against those other groups. So there's a lot of opportunity there. So let's just talk about what the program would look like. The team that collects the most blood for the year will receive a $750 grant towards the program. We want to do it towards the program. There's enough scholarships out there for everyone. They can do that. This money's got to go back into the program. That's how we designed it. That's where we feel it should be. That way we're always growing it and continuing to grow. That will be sent out to the team that collects the most blood for the year. And I'll get to some of the things about that. The next one would be the team that has the best social media campaign for the year. That's one of the ways we're trying to get to the younger people. We had 3 interns this year, and I bet you on our usual, whatnot, everything, we're trying to be trendy and everything, but we're 45-year-old people. We have no idea. Our interns come in and all of a sudden we've got 400, 500, 600 hits, stuff that we didn't know. And at that point it was like, let's get these people that actually know it. And here's a great opportunity to have these high schoolers expose that. And also, just because you can't collect the most blood for whatever reason gives them another opportunity to collect some money for the program. Now, as far as collecting blood, you can do it every 56 days. That's up to you guys. You can run as much as you want. We just have to have that in between there. It's completely up to you. The one qualifier I will ask is that we try to shoot for 20. I know on here it says we must collect 20. If you come in at 17, we're going to count that. But what we don't want is to set up blood drives and then come out there and there is no, effort put into it and we collect 5 or 6. That would be the last thing we'd want. But I feel it's important you guys know that, you're not alone. I mean, when we launch this program, and realistically, we will send it out to all of our people at our company October 1st and run it until you guys have your final tournament. That's really where we're at. We're working on the finalizing of the rules and regulations with Joe, but that's really going to be the scope of it. And you'll have a person assigned to you the whole time. If you're interested in doing it, and I'll show you the contact information here in a little bit, you will see, you'll contact Joe, we'll assign it to somebody, they'll get a hold of you right away, and we'll help you through the process. It's not like, oh, hey, here's a blood drive, you get to do this, and there's nothing to it. We'll help you in ways to recruit, ways to go about asking, and it doesn't have to be just the high schools. It can be middle schools, and people are like, well, how is that possible? Have each student, I've always made each student go out and get 2 people. Give me 2 people, or somebody that's afraid of needles. I'll never forget, I did a presentation at a college and this kid just passed out, and his grandfather, his father, his great-grandfather, all were surgeons. And I said, and he saw a bag of blood and he just passed out. And I said, this probably's not, you probably don't want to do that. And he's like, I'm going to be an engineer. I said, good choice. But, so, I mean, there's always the opportunity to help, but we'll be there to help. We'll work them through it. We'll show them different ways in which we can help. If they don't like to donate or are not comfortable with that, we'll help them with ways of doing that too. There's lots of ways that we can get help. So we're just trying to help everyone do it. So here's a banner, just one of the social media banners, just to give you guys an idea, just basic stuff like that. But that's really what we're asking them to come up with. And we're here to help you guys do that. So as I was talking, any questions you guys might have, contacts, information, Joe is my boss. He'll be the one to take all your information in. I will be working with Joe. We have the school list. I can have my people, we'll be reaching out to you to let you know what the program is, give you a final sales sheet, and just help you to get any of this coordinated. So, our job is to save lives. And the other thing is to create leaders. And this is a group that has not, Joe and I talked about this. This is a group that has been overlooked. And you guys aren't blind to that. You're not, that. I mean, it's just a group that isn't get asked to do blood drives, doesn't get asked to do these things very much, but yet are still going to be some of the leaders that we need in the world. So What we have up here is just really a basic flyer we'll get out to all of you. We're getting it finalized here. Once we have the rules and regulations done, we'll get this all out to you. The goal is to get it out to you by October 1st and get the ball rolling. We've got lots of dates available. So realistically, guys, I'll keep it short and sweet. That's it. If you guys have any questions, let me know. You can always go through Joe or email Joe McGrath, either way, but I just can't thank you guys enough. Right now we have, just to give you guys a few stats, 30% of the United States population is eligible to donate. 4% try, 3% do. We have about a day and a half blood supply right now in the United States. And just to give you an example, in Indianapolis about 3 weeks ago, there was a gunshot victim. He took 112 units of blood, and that 112 units will take us 4 to 5 blood drives to run just to fill that one person. And he survived, and that's awesome. That's great. But just giving you guys an idea of what it takes and that there really is truly a need. You might hear it all the time, but there is a need. So can't thank you guys enough. Don't want to keep you anymore. Joe, thank you so much for letting me come in.
Thanks, JP. So you'll hear more information about Versiti in the coming weeks and months. There's some cool things we're going to do at finals, and there's some other activation type stuff we'll do. On a personal note, and I don't talk personally a lot in these meetings, but I'm a cancer survivor, and I know a lot of you don't know that about me. I had cancer when I was 13 years old, and I actually received blood that JP, Joe, and I figured out came from Versiti when I was in the hospital, both for my surgery and when my platelet count literally hit 0 from chemotherapy. So it's a personal touch for me too, and I know that a lot of our kids want to be socially engaged. They just might not know how, and this is a way to help get them involved. So another cool opportunity for us. Be on the lookout for more information. We'll get all these flyers out and all the information out to you too, in an email and in Discord soon. But thanks, JP, for that, and looking forward to what we can do this year.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
One more. Landon, are you here?
Yep. Hey, how's it going?
Good. You're up.
Sweet. Let me present real quick. Oops.
Landon is a former IEN player, by the way.
I might be the youngest person in this meeting. I hope that's not true, but here we go. All right. Sweet. Hello, everyone. My name is Landon Frank, and today I'm here to present a 1v1 singles Smash Ultimate bracket that we are running at IEN. That'll be a season-long circuit. So a little bit about me. My name is Landon Frank. My gamer tag is Scrubbed Out. I'm a top-ranked Indiana Smash Ultimate player. I was also previously a high school competitor as well. I've competed in a couple Spartan Smashes, and like Joe said, I was also I participated in IEN a couple years ago. Right now, in the last couple years, I've been the head event organizer for Odyssey Esports. We hosted Afterburner 2025, which had 350 total attendees and 250 Smash Ultimate attendees, which was one of the biggest tournaments in the state. I also host lots of other smaller events, and I'm currently in our little game lounge / office space right now. We got some guys gaming over here, if you can see that. So. But I do a lot of different organizing for Smash Ultimate in Indiana. I also helped create the Indiana Youth Smash Discord server around February or March, I believe, we run weekly online Youth Smash events for high school players in Indiana. So a little bit about the season-long high school Smash singles circuit and why we're doing it. So many high school and college Smash Ultimate leagues use crew battles, IEN included, which allows for team play and I think is generally the best way to run a circuit like this. But there are definitely flaws with crew battles, timing. Sometimes teams rely on one player. Sometimes teams don't have a lot of players. And I know many coaches and students in IEN have wanted a singles bracket for Smash for a long time. So this is basically what we're doing. This will be a 32-player invitational that runs at IHSEN in the spring. And there will be different ways for high school players to qualify, offline and online qualifiers at different events. Player eligibility. Players just need to be in grades 9 through 12 and reside in Indiana or attend high school in Indiana. The season will begin at the end of September and conclude at the IEN finals, obviously at that tournament, which will be a 32-player double elimination bracket. Where and when are the qualifiers? Like I mentioned, there's offline and online qualifiers. Qualifying spots are given to Youth Smash Ultimate events based on the scale of the event. We decided to have offline and online so that some players, that might not be able to travel to a couple of these events have the opportunity to qualify, but also Smash Ultimate, definitely a primarily online or offline game, just because the netcode is not very good and a lot of players prefer to play offline. So that's kind of how we split up the qualifiers. Yeah. So qualifying events offline, there's Flash's Frenzy, which is an event right at the end of September coming up here with 3 qualifying spots. We have Spartan Smash 2024 at Manchester in November, which is, I would say, Indiana high school Smash's kind of premier high school event. Last year it had 256 players. That'll have 12 qualifying spots. Cougar Open 2025, date not confirmed yet. That'll have 8 qualifying spots, and then there will be another kind of last chance qualifier, yes, high school clash bracket in Fishers with 3 qualifying spots. And then we'll also have online events. We'll have 6 different online qualifiers through our Indiana Youth Clash Bash qualifiers, which will be 1 per event. The winner will be awarded those qualifying spots. And then just a little bit about Indiana Youth Smash. We currently have a Discord server of about 200 players. We run weekly tournaments. So youth players can get access to play in these tournaments and get consistent practice. We obviously, we're very, I'm very strict and make sure it's moderated well, safe for all students, obviously, as it, so make sure that's all good and stuff. So that's all I have for the presentation. I'm super excited to be able to bring something to this and bring singles and obviously kind of my tournament organizing experience and also my high school and competing experience to IEN and give this opportunity to all these high school players that I think really are super excited to do something like this. So
yeah, we're super excited about the 1v1s, and we know, like Landon said, that's something that we lost going to crew battles. We do agree crew battles is the online format of choice, but it's nice that we can be able to offer this to other students as well. So we'll make sure all this gets posted in Discord and sent out as well, but start talking to your Smash Brothers players about these events. If you're not already planning on going to some of these in-person events or haven't in the past, plan on that. They're really special for your Smash Brothers kids. And then if you can't make it, those online qualifiers will still give your kids a chance. And then that's just another opportunity for IEN Finals is in addition to everything else going on, we'll be having this top 32 double elim bracket for those singles players as well. So just another opportunity to be telling your students about for finals, even if they just want to come and watch the 32 best high school Smash players duke it out at finals. So thanks, Landon. We'll make sure we share all this information out again, and Landon's in the server as well, so you can talk to him. He'll post some stuff. We'll make sure we get your questions answered moving forward with that.
Yep, super excited for this. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yep. All right. I'm going to share my screen now, and we'll go through the rest of the agenda that you guys have been signing in on. So, regular season matches, the varsity schedule is available in LeagueOS for all the regular season varsity matches. A few have been remade, which reminds me, Nick, I think we need to ping Imps in Fortnite and tell them that schedule was remade today, because I don't think we did. And if you hear that was remade today, there's just a few little scheduling issues that are popping up because schools weren't sure they were registered or are dropping out. So those schedules should be finalized, but if any changes occur, we'll make sure we let you know. There aren't club schedules. Yeah, Anthony, every schedule is ready to go. Unified as well for unified coaches here. Club is the same procedure as preseason was. So there's not a schedule generated for club because at the club level, what will happen is you'll be able to check in and get your match. There will still be 2 queue windows for club for the regular season. There'll be the 4 p.m. match time and the 5 p.m. match time. Only check in for one of those queue windows, please. We've had a few issues in preseason where a school was like, hey, we want to play another match. understandable, but you're not finished with your 4 p.m. match by the time the 5 p.m. match is ready to start, and now a coach who was planning on playing at 5 is waiting for you to finish your match. So, as tempting as that is, please only check into one queue window for club on each night. You're always free to get in Discord and ask if anyone wants to scrimmage or have a friendly match, perfectly fine, but please only do the one. Yeah, the 2 club queue windows seem like they're working pretty well in preseason. I know there are some buys that have happened, but that will get even healthier populated once the regular season picks up and more schools are participating. There were a few rule changes that we've communicated, but just to summarize, Fortnite in particular, 15 rounds was what we thought would be appropriate. Turned out that's a little bit too long. So we reduced the number of rounds in Fortnite from 15 to 10 to better fit into our competition window that we're trying to figure out. We changed the LeagueOS scoring. We know that was a sticking point week 1 on entering scores after every round and trying to see the scoreboard and copy stuff down and then figure out how many points you have to put in. We've simplified that a whole lot. So basically what you're just going to do, and we hopefully practice that today, was take the wins column from the scoreboard that's displayed at the end of the map and just put those scores directly into LeagueOS in a single game. So hopefully that's beneficial for everybody, vastly simplifies all the scoring, but it still keeps our separation for different places instead of just awarding points to first place. So this seems like the best situation and solution for everybody. If you need help with that process, ask, but we think it's pretty straightforward now. Also be sure you have students adjust their settings so that they're not just allowing anyone to join. We did realize we'll have to tweak that a little bit because the person making the lobby does have to be online. They can't be away or else they can't invite people. So we'll addendum that rule to make sure that the person creating the lobby is viewable online. But that was some of the problems we had from week 1 was students were like, oh, my friend wants to play. Let's click yes. And then we have just lots of people in the lobby that shouldn't be there. So that process for having your students reduce the likelihood of that happening is outlined in the rules. We do know there were a few issues with Fortnite today. We're working through those. We're pretty confident we can get them resolved by next week. We think we have the spectator issue figured out, and we think we have the team switching issue figured out. So look for, on your end, you won't notice any difference, but we'll publish some bug fixes here, and we'll continue to do so as we notice. So if during practice or a competition you notice an issue with the Fortnite map, just put it in chat, ping the board so we can document it. This is a process. We made our own custom map and a game mode that no one else is really running and all sorts of crazy things. So there have been some hiccups, but we're confident we can put forth a good competitive offering here within the next week by the time regular season starts. Minecraft, there's also a few small changes. The first to 2 format sounds good, except with 4 teams. That could mean you're playing like 9 matches. No one wants to do that, so we're just going to play all 3 maps once each competition day. That standardizes the competition length instead of being super variable, which I think is helpful to us all. And even then, it seems like 25 minutes was a little bit too long for getting all 3 maps in our target of an hour, so that timer has been reduced to 20 minutes for maps. That is at the middle school and high school level, Varsity Minecraft. So hopefully those are quality of life changes that are good. Tetris, a small change that we instituted. If there is time, we will start a 3rd round. And by time, we mean if we can start that 3rd round by 5:45 p.m. If not, we will not start that 3rd round, and we'll be sure to communicate that on the week of. It's just, if things are going well and we can play 3 rounds within an hour, we should do that. We should give kids the most opportunity possible. But at the same time, we don't want to be having kids there for longer than they want to be there, or we want them to be there, to be quite frank. Also, if your students need to leave after the 2nd round, you can always deactivate them or have them deactivate themselves so they don't continue to get matches. There's flexibility there in Tetris. LANFest stream matches. So hopefully you saw some notifications today or checked out the middle school Fortnite match that was streamed. So we partnered with Zotac, the graphics card company, and LANFest, a national nonprofit centering on gaming, to help stream 72 of our matches throughout the course of this year, like we've mentioned in the past. The stream was awesome. They got some high-quality casters in production. Even though our map was a little buggy and the spectator controls were a little off, it was still really great. And it's really a really cool opportunity. So what this means for you is you're going to get notified if your match is being streamed. I will post a blurb in the match chat. I will ping coaches so you'll get a notification. I'll even rename the match so you'll be able to see it says stream matched in the title. The important things are if you are in that streamed match, it has to be played at the default time. You can't reschedule it. That's because all the production crew, all of the caster crews are expecting that time. So that's when we need that to occur. We also need to make sure that we wait for production to be ready. So they'll be in the match chat, or one of us will be in the match chat. We'll tell you when you can actually start the match. So you'll want to make sure all of you are ready, but we'll need to make sure the production crew is ready as well before we actually hit the start button on that lobby to actually begin the match. It may be a few minutes delayed depending on the casters talking and getting things ready. If your match is chosen and you cannot fulfill the requirements, let us know as soon as possible, at least a week in advance, so that we can choose another match. We don't want these matches to be forfeits or have to be scrambling. So pay attention to the match chats. Pay attention to if you get an email notification because you got pinged. And if you can't do it, let us know, and we'll choose a different match. Week 1 matches are already scheduled for stream. You should have gotten a notification today when I pinged you in match chat. Take a look at those, see which ones are being streamed. They're streamed on our YouTube and Twitch channel. We'll make sure we link those as well, but it's just Esports Indiana on YouTube and Twitch. It's a cool opportunity for us to be able to showcase all of you and what you're doing at schools, for parents to be able to watch, right? Some of us aren't capable of streaming our own matches, but this is a way to be able to point parents to, or school administrators, or other teachers, or the community at large, and say, like, this is what we're doing. So it can be a sponsorship opportunity for you, but it's a good optics and visibility opportunity for us as a whole organization as well. LeagueOS workshops. So this is something that I want to do in relation to the streaming. I post a lot of LeagueOS videos, and that works for a lot of things, but I think it would be neat to have a live workshop on Google Meet or on Discord where we go through some things in like a class-style back-and-forth environment. The first one I want to do is on all the streaming resources that are built into LeagueOS. There are a ton, and they are the ones that were used on today's LANFest stream. So if you haven't seen those yet, go look at those. I know some of us stream with them as well. At Snyder, we do. You can take a peek and see what some of the overlays look like. They're really high quality, and they're super useful. They make your stream a lot more appealing visually without a lot more work on your part. You don't have to generate all the graphics and do all this manual programming. You just grab a web link and throw it up. It can also be useful if you're doing social media advertising and not even streaming. If you want to have graphics on your announcement YouTube video that your school does or whatever that looks like, there's lots of cool stuff you can do. And then if look for a Discord event for that. I'm thinking during one of the break weeks in October would be a good time. So I'll get something scheduled, make a Discord event soon. I'll also record it if you want to hop on later and take a look and can't make it to the live workshop. Make sure players have been added to rosters. So our first housekeeping item, we kind of extended and softened the registration deadline for adding players to your rosters, but that needs to be done before regular season starts next week. All of your rosters should be full. Take a peek at them on LeagueOS. Make sure that it looks right. There's a chance that some of your rosters have older players that you have since removed because you registered with them on the roster and then removed them later. That's fine. Open up a ticket, a help desk ticket on the Discord. We'll take care of it real quick. It's pretty easy to do on the back end. But just let us know if your roster on your school page does not agree with what the roster on the competition page looks like. We can fix that up. Make sure your varsity players have made game connections as well. So you need to have all varsity players with active connections to the game they're playing. So the Overwatch Blizzard connection, Riot connections, all of those sorts of things. I believe they're all functional except maybe chess. I need to look back at the chess API. I think it's still broken. But other than that, you should be able to make connections for all varsity titles. If you want to do that for club teams as well, it's helpful for your opponent to be able to see who they need to invite to lobbies, but not required for club, only required for varsity. If you can report scores on LeagueOS as you go through the match, that's helpful. It's helpful so you don't forget what they were by the end of the match. but it's also helpful for the streaming overlays. There's kind of like an ESPN style ticker along the bottom that will show matches in progress. It's cool to be able to see what's going on if those matches are updated live. If you forget, it's fine, but it's just something to kind of be cognizant of if you have time to do that as your match is going. Something specific for Overwatch coaches and players, make sure your Overwatch game accounts are public. You can set that to public or private, so make sure you need to do that for scouting purposes for teams. Some of the other games have third-party tracking sites. That's fine. You can't really block those. But since Blizzard has a first-party site, we want to make sure that we have those profiles set to public. If you run into a team that has their set to private, first step, just, kindly in match chat, be like, hey, remember we're supposed to have these set to public. Can you do that? We'll also set up a form where you can report those instances, and we can try to help as well. Last one, verified streaming programs. So something we announced at the mandatory meeting and we've instituted this year is the ability for verified school programs who have gone through a process to allow them to stream from third-person perspectives in games. So this is significant for Overwatch, for Valorant, for Fortnite, Minecraft, some of those. Rocket League doesn't really matter for, everyone's viewing from the same perspective. But what we're doing is publishing a list of those schools. That's what's linked here in chat. We'll also put that on Discord. The link to apply to be a verified streaming program is in Discord, and we can probably share again as well. It's pretty straightforward, but what we're really looking for is to verify that your school has a setup in such a way that you're not providing your players with an unfair advantage from being able to spectate the whole map as opposed to just your team. So you're going to be submitting pictures, you're going to be submitting account names, you're going to be submitting Twitch and YouTube channels, but the idea is you need to demonstrate that you can do so in a responsible manner that's not going to provide your team with an unfair advantage. A few schools that have already submitted, we might ask for further documentation on that end. Could you submitted some pictures, but it's not quite clear how your setup is positioned so that we can verify that it definitely won't provide your school with an unfair advantage. That is our agenda. If you have questions, I see there's been some in chat. We'll go through those. I'm going to stop the recording and post this online. Thank you all for joining. You're free to hang out with us as we go through questions from chat, and we can unmute and start answering them. If you have questions for any of our organizational partners that visited, Chris from VHEL, JP from Versiti, or Landon from Odyssey, again, feel free to reach out to one of us on the board. We can connect you. They're in Discord, except for JP, and we can make sure that we get those questions answered. Thanks again, everybody, for attending the meeting, and we'll see you at the next one.